There we go. Welcome to my home world. Welcome back, I should say. That's the third time I've tried to start this, and I keep getting a saying starting video, and it just goes like this, and it's lying to me. Once it's starting the video, I tried it 3 times. I had to go reset it to get it to start. I've never had that happen before. Doesn't want me to start this video apparently. So I am going to do my little Sunday night Bible reading and singing. And I hope that what I have will bless you today. The subject I'm talking about today is trust. And I'm specifically, of course, talking about trust in God. And I chose this, I think because I thought of a song about trust, and then I found another one. But I also wanted to speak about this because of the subject of trusting God. And I want you to ask yourself, do you trust God? And if you are a Christian, you probably say, yes, I do. And I would tell you that too. Yes, I do. I trust God. But I find that the longer I go in life, the harder it is for me to do. The more I have to fight, to hold on, to trust. When I was younger, it seemed a lot easier. I mean, it was never 100% easy because we have to fight against our nature. We have to fight against the enemy whispering lies into our ear, and we have to fight against what we see in our circumstances. It was never completely easy to trust. But I have found in my life that it seems to have gotten harder. And I think the reason that is because I have been so disappointed in the things that I've prayed for, and I've not prayed for things that were not promised in the Word. I've not prayed for, like God give me a Cadillac or something. Not that there's something wrong with that if you want to pray for that, but I've not prayed for objects so much. I mean, if I had something broken, I'd say, God, help me be able to repair it, help me be able to afford to fix it or something. I prayed for that, but that's a need. But things that I've prayed for, some of them did not work. I either didn't get it at all, or it didn't turn out to be what I thought. One, first was my spouse. I had prayed, God, I want a godly Christian man who will love me and love you and serve you. And it appeared that that's what I got. But those appearances were deceptive, completely deceptive. I was married for 28 years and it was not at all what I had gotten. I had someone that had a secret life, and then he left. And that was about 6 years ago. And since I specifically prayed for years as a teenager, God, send me the right person. I don't want to be divorced. I want to find one person, have that be the one person for the rest of my life, and that's what I want. And I feel that's what God wants. That's not against God's will. God wants you to find one person, a good, godly spouse, and be married to them the rest of your life. That's God's perfect plan, and that was mine too. And I prayed and prayed and asked for that, but yet that is not what I received. And so I go to God and say, God, I don't understand. Now, I understand that the other person has a choice what they do with their life. I don't understand why that person was brought into my life when God knew he was not the right one. That's what I don't understand. I do understand that God is not going to make another person make right choices, but I don't understand why he came into my life when God knew he was not going to make the right choice. And so I have a tendency to say, God, I trusted you, and I was let down. And even though you can say, well, it wasn't God that let you down because God wasn't doing wrong, God didn't do wrong, but yet God did not keep me from that. And he did not protect me from that. And I'm not really sure why, and I'm sure there must be a reason. But what that does is damages your trust. And I don't want my trust in God to be damaged. But I trusted him to do what I was asking, because I was asking a godly thing. Then I asked for children. God, I want children. My own children. Now, I know you can adopt children and you can foster children. You can do all this stuff, but that was not my desire, nor was I called from God. God did not call me to do it. I prayed and asked even, God, is that what you want me to do? And I really did not get any indication at all that's what he wanted for me. And nor was it the desire he put in my heart. He gave me the desire to have my own children, and that is it. And I'm sorry, I can pretend that's not the case, but you can't make yourself want something you don't want. If you know how to make yourself want something that you don't want, you tell me how. I can make myself do it anyway, but I can't make myself want it. You just can't make yourself want what you don't want. And you can't, if that's the desire God has put in your heart, that's what it is. And I prayed for children if you want to count it, I'm still praying, even though I have no husband, and even though I'm old. I'm still praying, God, where are the children that you've promised? The word says if you are Children are reward to those who diligently serve him. And I'm like, I've diligently served you since I found you when I was 9. I've diligently served you. I've never backslid. I'm human. I'm not perfect, because no one is. But I have been as faithful to you as any human could possibly be. And yet, where are the children that your word promises? I still don't know the answer to that. And so these things that have occurred in my life have caused my trust to be harder to apply, because things that I felt were godly requests, it's not ungodly to ask for children and a godly spouse. That's a godly thing to ask for. That's not against God's will. I knew it wasn't. So to now say, God, I'm going to trust you. I've trusted you then and didn't get what was a good thing. It's difficult to do. It's difficult. It's difficult too when you see other people that were in the same situation and they've prayed and they received. And you think, I'm so happy for them. But what about me? I wouldn't take it from them, and I'm not jealous of them, because I wouldn't want anybody to go through this. I wouldn't want my worst enemy to go through this. This, to me, I feel like barrenness and separation and aloneness, this is a part of hell. This was going to be in hell. People think when they get to hell, it's going to be hot and miserable, but we'll all be together. You're not. You're going to be hot, you're going to be miserable, and you're going to be alone. That's what you're going to be. You're not going to be together. You're not going to be down there with your buddies. You're not going to be there with your friends or your family that's died. You probably will never see them again, because separation and being alone is hell. It is. So, having a party in hell is not hell. Alone in a pit or a cell like a prison, that's hell. So if you think, well, I'm not really very good and I may not go to heaven, but at least I'll be with my friends in hell. No, you will not. I don't care if they're there. You will. If you hear them at all, you hear them screaming in pain, but you will not see them. You will not be buddies with them. You will not be around them. You'll be isolated, because that is miserable. And that's what hell will be. It's not going to be any good part in hell. You're not going to be able to make lemonade out of lemons in hell. You're not going to be able to. There's not going to be any good part at all. So, back to this. I find myself, sometimes when I pray for something, I prayed for something the other day, a very simple little thing. God answered it just like that, in an amazing way. And I thought, wow. And I thought, no, wait a minute. Why should I be that surprised? I shouldn't be that surprised. I shouldn't act like it was a simple little thing. A simple little thing. Just, God, it would be so great if you let this happen. And I walked in the door and there it was. And I thought, wow, instant answer to prayer. And more that I wouldn't even have expected it in that way. It was so great. And then I thought, well, why am I surprised? You know why I'm surprised? Because I've had so many that I've waited and waited and waited for. I mean, I'm talking over 35 years I've been waiting for, that were good, godly prayers that have not yet been answered. And maybe it's for the future. Maybe it is. But when you've prayed for something and your situation gets worse instead of better, it can be harder, because you think, well, God, I still want children, but now I don't even have a husband. So, I'm not going to be Mary and have Jesus, right? And then I'm old and, well, you can still have children like Sarah or Elizabeth. Well, that's not what I really wanted. But I mean, that's all up to God. But then this is where I find myself, and maybe you find yourself here, or have found yourself, or if not, maybe you will one day. What do you do when you find yourself having to trust God when you don't know what he's going to do? And you've prayed and maybe he didn't answer that prayer. And it's one thing if you pray a prayer and you're not sure if that's God's will or not. But when you pray a prayer that's in the Bible and you know that this is God's will and it doesn't happen, it leaves you in a place of like, God, I don't understand what's going on here. I don't understand. But when you find yourself in that place where you don't understand what's going on, that's when you have to make yourself trust. And it may not be easy, it may be harder than it used to be. And I find myself sometimes in just little things, being afraid this might happen or afraid that might happen. And I think, oh, why am I so worried about that? Why am I so worried about that? That's because I'm not trusting God to take care of it. Well, why am I not trusting God to take care of it? Because I have other things in my life he still doesn't take care of. Or that really were done, I think, in a terrible way. And it wasn't, like I said, necessarily God doing it, but he allowed things to not work out according to what even his word said. And I think, well, God, you say your word's not going to return unto you void. Right now it's pretty void. It's pretty void right here. Void right here. And not everything is void, but certain areas are. But does that mean we just trust longer? I think it does. I think that's where we dig in our heels and say, God, I don't get this. But you know what? He's the only one you have to trust. If you don't trust God, who do you trust? Who? You trust yourself? Well, you can't do anything. What if you have sickness? What if you have death? What if you have impending death? What if there's an accident? What if there's something you can't handle? I mean, what if you're in the hospital in a coma? What if something terrible happens and you can't handle everything? What if you're physically have an illness? What if you're suddenly in a wheelchair, suddenly paralyzed? I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen to anybody, but I'm just thinking there are things in life that happen to people that you're out for the count and you can't handle it. So you might say, well, I'll just rely on myself. You're not reliable. You're not. I'm not either. I mean, you can rely on me. I'm a pretty reliable person. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I try my best to do it. I may not always be on time. I'm always late because I sleep in. I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up, and I don't want to go to bed either because it makes morning come too soon. But I'll do it. I'm a pretty reliable person. If I say I'm going to do something, I will do my best to do it. If I can't do it, I'll call you and say I can't do it. This is why I can't do it. What else can we do? I'm a faithful person. I'm a reliable person. I'm a trustworthy person. But I'm human, and I can't do everything. I can't even trust myself to do everything. If something happens and something breaks, I might be able to fix it, depending on what it is. Something big, I can't fix it. I don't know how to fix it. Maybe I can figure out how to do some minor things. But see, I can't do everything. That's the thing. I can't do everything. Even if I learn how to do everything. Now I live in an apartment, so this doesn't apply. But if I had to suddenly re-roof my own house, I couldn't do that. If I had to, put new windows in a house, I can't do that. I'm just saying there's some things I can't do. I may not have the physical ability anymore. I don't have the knowledge. Now, you can acquire knowledge, but there will come something in your life you can't do. And you're going to have to trust somebody. Now, you can trust another human, but what if there's nobody around? What if you're alone? What if you just don't have anybody you can call? What if there's something other people can't do? What if it's not humanly possible? Who are you going to trust? Well, let me tell you right now, don't trust Satan, because he's a liar. If he says to you, I'll take care of you if you just serve me. Now, I don't know that some people don't fall for that, because I wouldn't fall for that, but it might be really subtle. It might be subtle. If instead of going to church, you go do this today, every week. Or if instead of praying, you do this. I don't know, it just could be anything. You can't trust him. He lied to you. So anything you get that's not from God, you can't trust Satan. You are only human and can only do so much. You can't trust you. Do you know there's nobody else you can trust but God? That there isn't. You don't have a choice. A lot of people think you have a choice. You do have a choice, but your choice is kind of death and destruction or God. That's not really a choice to me. I don't understand how people make that choice. It's because they don't think that's the choice they're making, but it's not really a choice to me. God's really the only choice. And I'm going to read some verses today about trust because they help me, and I pray that they will help you. 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, "For we live by faith, not by sight." I have to live a lot by faith because I don't have much to see in my sight. Mostly empty rooms. So I can't live by sight. There's nothing to see. I have to live by faith. And it's a long faith. I never expected faith. I expected to have faith and to wait for things, but not this long. I remember somebody told me one time that Job in the Bible, who went through horrible things. I haven't been through what Job's been through. Not that bad. It said everything that happened to him until God started to restore him was only like 21 days. And I thought, 21 days? That's it? Job went through all that. Now, that's a lot of tragedy in 21 days, I'll say. It's a lot of tragedy. And, of course, he had the heartache of losing his children for the rest of his life, but he got new children to love, at least. And he would see those children again in heaven, so he only lost them temporarily. But he still had to live with the grief. But yet I'm thinking he suffered waiting for 21 days? 21 days? I've been waiting over 35 years. Come on. Why can't I have the 21 days? Why do I have to hold on for over 35 years? I've been waiting, I don't know how long it's going to go. Why is it so long? Why is so much of my life going by without the promises being fulfilled? I don't know. But I view it that if I'm this person, for we live by faith and not by sight, I have to keep trusting. I have to keep trusting no matter how bad it hurts, no matter how much my heart aches, no matter how much pain and grief that I'm in, I have to keep trusting. No matter how empty my life is, I have to keep trusting because that's my only hope. Proverbs 16:3 says, commit to the Lord whatever you do and he will establish your plans. I know God has plans for me. The Bible says that God can do exceedingly abundantly above all you ask or think. Now that to me sounded like God's plans, doesn't it? He's able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you ask or think. I'm thinking, God, is that your plan? That's a great plan. So far, I have not seen that at all in my life. I haven't even seen close to it. I haven't even seen what I ask or think, let alone above what I ask or think, or exceedingly above what I ask or think. And we haven't even gotten to the ask or think part. I'm like way down here. And I'm like, this exceedingly abundantly above all I ask or think, man, that's like over the moon to me from my distance. From where I'm at, that's a long ways from where I'm at. I would just have been content with what I ask or think. Exceedingly and abundantly above what I ask or think, that'd have been a bonus. Can I just have what I ask or think? I'd have been content with that. I don't have to have the exceeding abundance. How about just what I ask or think? But no, I'm down here in the waiting for everything mode. But it says he'll establish your plans. So is this what God has planned for my life? I don't understand why. But apparently it must be. He must have me walking through this for something. Maybe it's for someone else. Maybe it's to win other people. Maybe it's for miraculous future for me. I don't know. I hope so. And I hope it's on this earth. Oh, I know you get everything in heaven. You get everything fixed in heaven. But God has healing and restoration for us on the earth as well for things. And that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I know I'm going to get it all in heaven. I don't want to have to wait till I die to get it, though. I want some good things while I'm still here. Because I believe when God says he can do exceedingly abundantly above all you ask or think, I believe that's for this earth. Because he doesn't have to promise it to you in heaven because it's already there. It's already there. The things that he says he will do that for you, that the promises in the Bible I feel are for here, for your life here. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. I think that means if things all go wrong from what you thought they would go, and you still trust him, even when it's hard, that's with all your heart. It's with all your heart if you're doing it no matter what you're going through. And lean not on your own understanding. That's a really hard one that I deal with because I like to understand things. I like to understand things. I have been that way since I was born. My parents tell me, I can remember some things when I was 3 years old, but I don't remember everything when I was 3 years old. I remember I dropped a 7-Up bottle that exploded and cut my leg when I was 3 years old, and I still have the scar there. I remember going to the doctor. I remember them putting a shot in my leg because it freaked me out. That it was already hurting, and I was screaming, crying, and they're putting a shot in my leg. I didn't know they were numbing it. I just thought, how mean are these nurses? They're putting a shot in my leg. How can they do that to me? But I was 3, so I have a lot of memory of that, but I don't remember everything at 3. But my parents tell me that when I was 3, I taught myself to read. My mother had taught me the ABCs, so I knew what they were. I knew the letters. I knew the sounds. I knew them by sight. And she said I would pick up the newspaper and ask her what everything spelled and then memorized it. And she said, you taught yourself to read. You knew how to read when you were 3. So from then, I always have been a person that loved words and loved reading. When I was, it was when I was in elementary school, so I'm guessing it's about 3rd grade, probably. They bought me, now most kids aren't going to find this exciting, they bought me a dictionary, my own dictionary. I was ecstatic as a 3rd grader. How many 3rd graders would be happy if you bought them a book that was a dictionary? They're like, that's the work. I don't want that. Oh no, I was ecstatic. It was a book full of words that I did not know. and then I could find out what they meant. And Mom said I was the only kid she had ever seen in her life that would stop playing whatever game I was playing or whatever toys I was playing with. She said if you heard a word you did not know, whether it was on the TV or adults were talking and they said some word, or usually she said it'd be something you heard on TV. She said if you heard a word that you did not know what it meant, she said you would stop playing with your toys and run and get your dictionary and look it up, because you could not stand to not know what it meant. So apparently I have been wired from birth to want to understand things. I like to understand things. But the Bible tells us don't lean on your own understanding. And because my brain is wired, it's analytical. Most women's aren't necessarily analytical. I'm insanely analytical. I inherited my dad's mind. So, and he's very analytical and logical. And I am that way too. I like to figure things out. I want to know why it did it, what it did. Especially if it was something that went wrong, I want to know how to not let it happen again. So I want to understand things. This doesn't say it's bad to understand things. It just says don't lean on it. Don't lean on your own understanding. And because my understanding has, I kind of had a good foundation of understanding of stuff, of things that I had planted, understanding words, understanding language, and I gathered information about things to build my own understanding. And because I had kind of a self-made foundation of that, it's easy for me to try to lean on it because it had always been kind of a good foundation for me. It's a good earthly foundation, but it's just an earthly one. And so when something occurs that doesn't apply to that, if I try to lean on that foundation, it won't do me any good to understand spiritual things. It just won't, because it doesn't have anything to do with it. It's just understanding earthly things. But because I had quite a platform built of that and kind of lived on it, that when things happen, I try to apply it to what I understand, because I got a big space of that in my brain. This fits here, this fits here, this, I understand this, and when something happens I don't understand, it's like, I don't know what to do with that. But this is why God says, trust Him with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. I have to kind of force myself to not lean on my own understanding, because it's like a default program in a computer. When you turn it on, it always does this thing automatically until you tell it to do something different. That's what my brain does. When something happens, analyze, like a computer, try to figure it out. Oh wait, this doesn't compute. But it's a default. It's a brain default, not fault, default. It means it's automatic. That's what my brain does. But it says, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths. So no matter what's occurring, if you acknowledge Him, God, I know you're here. I don't understand this path. I don't understand this occurrence. I don't understand what's happening, but I know you are here and you're directing my paths. I really have to kind of sometimes force myself into that mindset. I have to override the default. That's what I'm doing. I'm overriding the default. But see, sometimes I forget to do it. Because if you don't, if you have a car and you're driving and you don't take the steering wheel and you just hit the gas, it's just going to go wherever. And that's kind of what happens if you just let your things occur and you lean on your own understanding. It's like driving your car without a steering wheel and you're hitting the gas. It's just going to go where it will. If you're driving in a road in the mountains, we used to do this with ruts. If you drive in a road with ruts, you don't have to use the steering wheel. You will stay in those ruts because your car sinks in it and it's hard to get out. And to get out, you got to grip the steering wheel and force it out. But if you get in the car again and you forget and you just hit the gas and go, you'll fall right back into those ruts again, because they're so deep and they're so ingrained and they're so strong. And if you just push the car and let it go, back down, it's just going to go there again. It's going to go there again. And you've got to grip the steering wheel again and force it out of that thinking. And leaning on your own understanding is like ruts in a road. You're automatically starting there at the day. And you're automatically going to go there when things happen. And if you don't force yourself out, you're going to stay there. And sometimes I forget to do it. Sometimes I just let my mind go. Just letting it think, letting it do. And then I think, I'm really unhappy. Why? Because I'm in the ruts again. And you have to purposely grab the steering wheel and get yourself out of your own understanding. And that's it's good when you do it, but if you forget, like I do sometimes, back down it goes. And we all do that. So I know we all do that. We're all in the ruts. We're all in our own understanding. We're all in what we know and what we comprehend. We're all there when we start out. And unless we purposely drive our car out of those ruts, we stay there. Psalm 143:8 says, "Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you." You know, if you put your trust in him, your morning will bring you word of his unfailing love. Show me the way I should go, for to you I entrust my life. Now, this is some of the things that I prayed when I was praying for a spouse. God, show me the way to go. Show me the right person. Show me the one. I'm trusting you. But yet it didn't work out. So I don't know if I just didn't receive the message. I don't know why he wouldn't have made it more clear. Or did he want me to go down that bad path for some reason? I don't know why he would have. But we still pray, God, show me the way I should go. So even if you find yourself in a perplexing situation, like, I don't know why I'm here, I don't know how I got here, I don't really feel like I don't feel like I directed myself here, but somehow I've gotten stuck here. You can still, even if you're in that situation, say, God, show me the way I should go from here. Show me the way. You still have to trust him and ask him to show you. Psalm 91:1-2. This is a good verse. This is actually a song. They wrote it into a song. This is, and I'm going to play you this song. It just says the words of this. There's 2 verses. Psalm 91:1-2 says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High." Are you dwelling in the secret place of the Most High? You know what the secret place of the Most High is? Where he's at. It's where he's at. If you're dwelling where he's at, the secret place,